Well, good evening, everyone. I think talent, we just saw what wonderful talent this gentleman had. I think I've seen him on one of the Kapil Sharma shows also, if I'm not wrong. Pretty popular person. So, I think what they say is when you come on stage, you should always pick up a cue from your previous speaker. I cannot do anything what he did. But just to introduce myself, my name is Nitin. I represent Google Cloud. I'm with my colleague Sanjay Kathuria there. We both are relatively new to Google Cloud. It's not a very old organization in terms of, well, has been there for quite some time. The cloud business is not that old. So, I mean, most of the people in India are like 3 or 4 years in the Indian market. But what has been happening is we've been working with education a lot. And along with education, when the word tech comes in, that's where I think the transformation happens. Now, whether it's an edtech working with the student at home or an edtech working with the student in his or her college or school, I think the solutions are always centered around the student. And in the process, there are multiple stakeholders to be worked with, which is the school administration, the teachers, the entire support staff, the parents. So how do you kind of get all of them? Because transformation will happen to the student when these stakeholders also understand how does tech influence them or how do they apply tech. They may not know. For example, when I did my engineering in like 96, believe me, I mean, the only access, or when I passed out in school in 92, I mean, the computer lab was only available for playing 1 or 2 games, that's it, nothing else. Even in engineering, while we were taught how to program, but we were asked to write the code in the paper, and the compilation happened just by checking. So I think the world has progressed a lot from there. Now, what I'm about to talk to you is mostly on two parts. One, how is Google, when I say Google, not just Google Cloud, how is Google looking at education? Second, a little bit about AI, but then more importantly, how do we want to engage with colleges, universities? Largely, this is aimed at higher ed. And in the process, how do we engage with companies who want to work with these colleges or universities? So that will be the theme. Okay, so if you look at, when we look at education and we look at our products, what we offer, there are 4 key pillars which come to that. The first is access. And access is to devices, whether it is to Wi-Fi, and it is equitable access, so that every student or every teacher has access in his or her campus or at home. The second is working with educators to adopt whatever technologies used to be accessed, whether it is a Chromebook, a laptop, a smart board. So that's where the capability comes in. The third pillar is content. Now, we are not into content, but yes, we have platforms where content is being created, like YouTube is there, or there are companies which create content using our tools on our devices, and that content needs access as well as capability. And the last thing is, if technology is going to be used, you need to be able to measure it in some way or the other. Is it adding benefit to teachers? Is it adding benefit to students? What's in it for the institute or for the parents? And then not just measure, but also be able to take corrective action. Like all students' learning curve might be very different. Now, for a teacher in a standard class of 35 to 40 students, it is very difficult. But can technology come to the aid and provide that analytics? So that's where I think we are looking at technology as Google to play a role. And we are partnering with different organizations who are building solutions and also some taking our solutions to the educators. So that is how we look at education here, not just here, but across the world. And we've been working, like I said, there is a Google for Education team, which is a different team, which works with both K-12 and higher ed, both private and public schools. So that is a different team, but we work very closely with them. Now, coming to AI. Now, AI has been there for quite some time. It's just that the buzzword came out when maybe some of the platforms came out where Gen AI and some of the platforms like GPT and BART came out where it became a very common buzzword. But AI has been around for some time now. Now, for example, if you in your respective school, college, or for example in your organizations have used any Chromebook or any Chrome product or any Gmail suite, you've been looking at predictive text. You've been so that is some form of AI where it is predicting what do you want to write. Where the crux of it is, does it help to boost your productivity, and does it give you as an educator and as a student to express yourself? You might not be good at speaking. Now you might not be good at typing also. So can technology, when you speak, can it type it out for you? So can it be expressive? That is what we are looking at AI to play a role. Now there are different, I won't take all examples, but there are different institutes and different edtech companies who are working on different productivity suites. Now, why I'm sharing with all this of you is because there is things happening in India. If you want to know about them, work about them, do reach out to Chinmay and us. We'll be willing to work with you in that area, where you can help boost creativity and productivity amongst your students and teachers. Now, as a different example, there is a company, there is an institute which came to us. They said we have to reduce the assessments. Now, this institute is not a accredited institute, it's a training institute. They train for IAS students. But they say that there is so much of assessment, written assessment, which we have to assess. It becomes difficult. How can AI help solve that? So we are working with another organization, a partner of ours, to convert that written document into digital, and using the learnings of the educators, how do they assess? Building a logic for that and letting AI do the first round of assessment. Okay, so that has significantly improved the or reduced the time for teachers on pure assessment. So now 90% of the assessment happens there. The last 10% comes to the actual teachers. So that again is an example of where productivity is increased, and that also helps not only the teacher but even the students, because some of these institutes, they take weekly tests and they have to, or they take tests on an alternate basis. So they have to give that results also quickly back to the students. So this is another form where AI is being used. It's not that it will be used in the future, but it is being used today. Similarly, if you look at innovation at, now there are universities, I remember my university, mine was a state university in Goa, but there are private universities today who have, and I saw the gentleman from Chitkara, I'm not sure if he's here, but I had visited their institute, I think in 2017 or 18, and he talked about that entrepreneurship lab, and I've seen that lab. In fact, they are one of the private universities who started using technology earlier on. Now, even for them, the issue was students kept on demanding more and more. Like someone asked that, what do you do with technology? It keeps changing. Now that required huge amount of processing power. Ultimately, what that means for an institute owner is, if you ask Mohit Chitkara, what does he feel? He'll say, okay, I'll have to put up another lab. I'll have to put up another physical infrastructure. Today, there are companies available with us, like Unicloud, where you can take digital labs. Why do you want to put up that infrastructure at your premise? Now, those are high computing labs. Give that access to the student, give him some tokens, so you're saved from all that cost of maybe savings on your infrastructure. But more importantly, it is on demand, and demand is, again, it can be either during, after college hours, or it could be during one specific time of the year. So you can then accordingly use that power rather than investing everything in yourself. So that's what, and that will help drive innovation also. Because if you see some of these incubators, you walk up to the students, I mean, they are open till 8, 9, 10 in the night. That's when they're actually doing that stuff. So using technology also helps in innovation. So from that perspective, I think a lot of universities are looking at how do they adopt cloud? How do they adopt the power of cloud to drive innovation? And AI is a part of it. This is a very important one. Not only institutes, every edtech we talk to, who is an edtech who is into skilling of students, especially school students and college students, where there is a set curriculum and you have to teach that curriculum in that specific period of time. But you know that the students need more of you. So how do you replace yourself? So almost every edtech out there or every institute who has their own content, they are figuring out, can we create a teacher assistant for the teacher? Can that workload? Now, assistant comes in two forms. One, can the admin load be reduced? Second, can the admin load, I mean, is setting up the question paper, doing the assessments. The second thing is, if the teacher is not available, how do I then replicate access to student that he or she is still talking to that teacher? So that is where I think this large language models are coming into play. You must have heard of GPT or BARD, but those are consumer models. Now someone talked about data privacy. Someone talked about ethical AI. That's where I think you'll need to figure out, if you have your own content, you can use that content to train your own model and give access to that model to students, your own students. What that will ensure is, one, your data is protected. Second, you're giving access to students only for that data. So if the student asks to that data, who is Salman Khan, the model will not answer. So it is very relevant to your data set. And you can do that. Now the issue is, you can come to Google and say, why don't you take that? Now, there's data available in NCRT, there's data available in AICTE, but that's a gray area. We don't have rights to use that data to train our models. But if you have right to your own data, your own notes, your own IP, your own videos, teachers' videos or content, that data can be used. If you have those rights, we can help you train your models and deploy it in a very efficient way. That becomes as a secondary teacher. Now, that could be a text-based or that could be a voice-based. There is an edtech who's wanting to replicate himself or herself, star teachers, to do that. That is where AI is going to help. That, again, the advantage is access available to student beyond classrooms or school hours from the teacher in a very safe environment. That student may not ever raise his or her hand in classroom, but on his or her device, they'll be open to ask questions and get a reply, because they know that they're in the safe zone. No one will question them, oh, you don't know this. So I think AI can be used in multiple ways. This is another interesting area where we are working with a lot of, again, EdTech and education institutes to build their data models for a virtual teacher or an assistant teacher. Now, what could an ideal institution be like? It is the same thing which you have been doing, that students should get personalized access. That is where they will perform their best. Teachers should spend more time, maybe less time on admin stuff or checking papers, more time on assessing students. Okay, where does a student need help? What are the really tough topics? But for that, what support you need is, that's where tech helps you, is giving you that analysis. Okay, now there is a company, again, I won't name the company because they are working with the NDA with us, but what they're trying to do is, if they want to see how many students have enrolled, how many are likely to clear a complete course. And this is not a free course. This is a very expensive 2-year to 4-year paid courses. But it is a hybrid course. But what they want to do is, because the students are learning in a hybrid environment, that means there are some 4 days or 5 days, 3 days a week they might be at home, 1 day they might come for a lecture. But they want technology to assist, because they're recording everything. When I say recording, all the things, whether what questions are going, what are the answer sheets coming in, they want analysis to be done, which student is likely to drop out or which student might not understand this concept, and that intervention has to go automatically to the respective teacher. So this they are doing not just for that, but they are doing it for the business side also. How many students are hitting our website? Which pin codes are hitting our website? How many are going up to the payment stage and coming back? So they also want to know, if they release some offers, what is the ROI on that? Someone talked about ROI. So this can help you in both ways, as an institute or even as an edtech. So I think that is what I think we are working with a lot of companies on a lot of edtech companies in India, and believe me, there are a lot of smart chaps here, and you'll agree to that. Some of the colleges have their own students also helping create some of these models for them, working with edtechs. Now, I wanted to show a quick video about Workspace. It is a very powerful video. There's a new product we launched, Duet AI. It's a 2-minute video, but it's a, I think it'll talk about, I won't talk about Workspace. It's a good video to just see how AI is being used in a very, which can be used in everyone's device. So this is about workspace and how AI can help, whether it is, and you saw, I mean, if you're an educator or even a business person, whether it is summarizing all your emails, you're doing a VC, summarizing the notes, making presentations, thank you notes. So some of these things can help you increase productivity. And believe me, this works really well. It's available. You can work, you can order, you can reach out to us. A lot of companies who are using Workspace are moving on to trying this out. How can we use this in our work environment? Now, that is about AI. I won't talk about Workspace. You've seen the video. Now I want to switch gears and see that how do we want to reach out to institutes and along with our partner edtech companies. So, like I said, we have an education team who reaches out to institutes, both public and private. We have a DevRel team which goes out specifically to technical institutes where they want to teach programming, and they've been going out for many years. You must have seen some of you, if you're from the academia, some of you might have Google ambassadors on your campus who are Android champions. So that is one team. There is another team which specifically goes out for cloud, and there's another team which goes out for hackathons. So as Google, we said, let's maybe create a program. It is an engagement program. Again, it has started with universities, but we might come out with a version for schools also next year. How do we get universities to work with us, or both ways, where it is not just about one specific thing of buying our product and using it, but having a longer relationship. So for that, what we did is we tied up with one of our distributors in India, Reddington, and they tied up with about 30, 40 partners who work with universities. They might be your suppliers for computer equipment, they might be your suppliers for maybe content or some way or the other, basically where you have a financial transaction with them, because you also needed them to do that day-to-day hand-holding. Through them, we launched this program called Digital Campus on Google Cloud. Now, what was the need for it? Because, and I know the theme was more incubators, startups. This is where actually the startups start actually. I mean, most of the ideas come in college, right? So what is happening in India also is cloud computing is going up. Now you saw the recently concluded G20 summit also. I don't know if how many of you saw where the Prime Minister did a session with the security agency, the Delhi police. And one of the, I'm not sure if she was a lady constable or inspector, but she said that she was interacting with the Turkish Prime Minister's wife and she didn't know anything, they didn't understand each other's language. But they were using that app where she was speaking in Hindi and the Prime Minister's wife on the other side was getting her messages in her Turkish language and vice versa. So if you see, government also is going in a big way to use cloud computing. Private it is there. What that is creating is a whole demand for roles. Now those roles are multiple roles, not just technical, there are architecture roles, there are sales roles. So cloud computing is here to stay, it is only going to grow. So what we are working is, okay, can we work with these universities and do a certification also for them? So one is where we are bringing in a learning team, offering content, curriculum, which you can tailor according to your needs. And we look at a assessment and a certification so that students also have an alternate when they want to apply for. So these are the 3 or 4 things we thought about. And we said, how do we package this well? Sorry. So no need to take the details. I'll give you the website link. So what we said is, okay, let's look at 3 sets of universities. Universities which have, let's say, standalone, which have up to 1,000 students, then 1,000 to 3,000, and maybe 3,000 and above up to 10,000 plus, because large campuses will need a different kind of engagement. So we brought in everything, something for everyone. Now, obviously, yes, and those are the workspace licenses. But then, apart from workspace licenses, which universities will use, we will also give for the students credits to, like I said, to test out these labs, credits for testing out whatever they're learning on cloud, that labs, certification courses, and also there would be, so that's for the students. The other thing is the DevRel team will also conduct hackathons for these universities as this program expands. We are also looking at, since there are a lot of companies adopting Google Cloud in India and the government also, we want to bring those companies in a room. We did this in September in Bangalore and we got students who are learning cloud courses on GCP onto one room. We call that a job fair. These are 4th year students. So there were some 100 plus small companies we brought who are adopting cloud, who needed freshers, and then we brought students. So we want to do these job fairs also. So there's something in it for everyone. There's something for teachers, there's certification courses, there's something in it for students, obviously, where there's certified courses, access to hackathons, job fairs. For the institute also, this is a co-branded program. So yes, there will be PR around this. Now we are wanting the universities to apply to this, and because there's a lot of commitment from our side also to make this happen in the university, but there's lot of commitment from the university also to, okay, ensure are they willing to do this. Now, you may be a tech university, you may not be a tech university. And we launched this in September with Economic Times. Some of the universities which have come up are into liberal arts, but they want to teach cloud. So we've seen those kind of requests also coming in. So this is the program we are launching. Now the other thing which we are also doing is, as these universities are coming and will come on board on this, there will be solutions which they will need. Now some universities might need a solution on maybe how do we get more students. So we need a better outreach program on marketing, or we need a better assessment solution, or we need a digital library solution. That's where the edtechs come in. So we're also working with technology companies to come and work with us along with these universities. If you have a solution running on Google Cloud, which can be used by a university on campus or their students, come talk to us. So that we take that whole package to the university. So there are a few companies, MyAnatomy is one of them, whom we work closely with. There are a few others listed here. I won't go into details, but that is the idea. So to get you access not just to our technology and our courses, but to get you access to problems which have been solved for education ecosystem by other tech companies, and if you're willing to transact with them, do that independently. We have nothing to do in that. It's just that we're bringing all of that onto one platform. So that is the engagement what we've kind of started this with. We are seeing good traction, so we thought it'll be a good opportunity to come and talk to all of you about this. There is a website, this QR code you can scan, but I'll send Chinmay all the details. You can reach out, and there is a dedicated website to this. As we build this community, we feel that we should have more and more of these universities. We will start doing some local city events, local city catch-ups across. But we just started this 2 months ago, so we are hopeful that maybe by the next admission cycle, by June, July, there'll be a lot of universities which will tie up on this. So that's all I had to share. Thank you for your time. I know it's been a long day. I'm around here if you have any questions. Thank you.